So, your resume says you worked on early AI models. That's pretty outdated. Kyle Patterson, 22 years old, fresh Stanford graduate, Google interviewer, said it with the kind of casual dismissiveness that came from never having been wrong about anything in his very short, very successful life. He was sitting across from Dr. Robert Morrison, 58 years old, wearing a slightly wrinkled button-down shirt and khakis that had probably been purchased sometime during the Bush administration. The kind of clothes that screamed, "I stopped caring about Silicon Valley fashion trends before Silicon Valley had fashion trends." Kyle had already decided this interview was a waste of time. The resume had red flags everywhere: graduation dates from the 1980s, work experience at companies that didn't exist anymore, research papers published before Kyle was born. "We use transformers now," Kyle continued, leaning back in his chair with the confidence of someone who'd aced every test, landed every internship, gotten every offer. "GPT architecture, attention mechanisms. Do you even know what that is?" Dr. Morrison looked up, his eyes, pale blue, calm. The kind of calm that came from decades of actually knowing things rather than just Googling them, met Kyle's. "Yes," he said simply, "I published a paper on attention mechanisms in 2014. Kyle laughed. Actually laughed. 2014? That's ancient in AI years. "Look, Dr. Morrison, was it? I'm sure you were great back in the day, but AI has evolved. We need people who understand modern architecture, cutting-edge research, not—" He gestured vaguely at the resume. "Whatever this is." "I have 60 patents," Dr. Morrison said quietly. "Neural networks, natural language processing, computer vision, most of them cited thousands of times." Kyle didn't even look up from his laptop. "Patents are great, but we need practical experience, real-world applications. Have you worked on anything relevant recently?" Dr. Morrison was quiet for a moment. Then, "I helped develop the foundational architecture that your GPT models are built on. The transformer paper you mentioned? I was a co-author. The attention mechanism? I proposed the initial concept in 2001, refined it in 2014, and published the breakthrough that made modern large language models possible." Kyle stopped typing, looked up. "Wait, what?" "My name is on the transformer paper, second author. Attention is all you need, 2017. Before that, I worked at Bell Labs on neural machine translation, then at a small AI lab you've probably never heard of. It was called OpenAI's predecessor research group. We were working on this before your company even had an AI division." Kyle's face went pale. He opened a new browser tab, Googled Transformer Paper Authors. There it was. Second name on the list, Robert W. Morrison, Ph.D. Kyle scrolled through more results. Morrison's papers, thousands of citations, groundbreaking research in the 1990s on neural networks, work in the 2000s on natural language understanding, the 2014 attention mechanism paper that Kyle himself had studied at Stanford. Kyle stammered, "I didn't. Why isn't this more prominent on your resume?" "Because," Dr. Morrison said calmly, "I assumed people would actually read it. My publications are listed, my patents are listed, everything is there. You just didn't look." Kyle felt his stomach drop. "Dr. Morrison, I think there's been a misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding. You looked at my age. You saw graduation dates from before you were born, and you decided I was outdated, irrelevant, not worth your time." Dr. Morrison stood up. "That's fine. I have other interviews today. Google isn't the only company in Silicon Valley. Wait, please, I need to get my manager." But Dr. Morrison was already walking out. Kyle sat frozen in the interview room, staring at his laptop screen, at the list of Dr. Robert Morrison's publications, at the realization that he'd just rejected one of the foundational architects of modern AI, and his manager was going to kill him. 1 hour earlier, Google campus cafeteria. Dr. Robert Morrison sipped his coffee, looking out the cafeteria window. The Google campus, colorful buildings, electric scooters, Engineers in their 20s wearing hoodies and sneakers, the heart of Silicon Valley. He hadn't planned on coming here. He'd semi-retired, teaching part-time at Stanford, doing consulting, a comfortable life. But an old colleague from OpenAI had called, "Robert, Google wants you. AI research, they're building a new team. They need your experience." And Robert had thought, why not? One more time, one last project. But now, sitting in this cafeteria, looking at the young faces around him, he felt a doubt. Did he belong here, in this world, where age wasn't just a number, but a barrier? His phone rang. HR department. "Dr. Morrison, your interview is ready. Building 43, third floor, conference room B." "I'm coming." Interview room, first minutes. Kyle looked at Dr. Morrison's resume on his laptop, taking mental notes. Old, very old. Graduated in 1988. That's 36 years ago, before I was born. Bell Labs. Does that place still exist? Neural Networks Research, 1995-2003. Old. Natural Language Processing, 2003-2014. Still old. Google Brain Consultant, 2015-2017. Okay, that's better, but still 7 years ago. When Dr. Morrison walked in, Kyle glanced at him, and what he saw confirmed everything. Old, outdated, probably should be retired. "Dr. Morrison?" Kyle didn't even shake hands, just nodded toward the chair. "Have a seat. This won't take long." Robert sat, said nothing, just waited. Kyle started, "So I looked at your resume, and it's thin. You worked on early AI models, which must have been great back then, but modern AI is very different. Transformers, GPT, attention mechanisms. Do you know these?" "Yes," Robert said. "Really? Because these are very new, last 5-7 years. And you've been working since the 1980s, so you've had a great career, but AI moves so fast that even research from 2 years ago is considered old. You're talking about decades ago." Robert nodded slightly. "I see. So what do you find important in modern AI?" Kyle lit up. This was his expertise. Transformer architecture, the groundbreaking 2017 paper, "Attention is all you need." That paper changed everything. GPT, BERT. Every modern language model is built on it. The attention mechanism, it allows the network to dynamically learn which parts of input data to focus on. Revolutionary. "Interesting," Robert said. "Did you read that paper? Really read it, not just the summary?" Kyle paused. "Of course I read it. We covered it in class at Stanford." "And do you remember the authors?" Vaswani and others, I think. Google Brain and DeepMind team." "Why?" Robert smiled. A bitter smile. "Because I'm one of the others. Second author, Robert W. Morrison. I wrote that paper you read. And the attention mechanism you mentioned. Do you know who first worked on it?" Kyle froze. "In 2001, Robert continued, at Bell Labs, I published a paper titled Attention Mechanisms for Sequence-to-Sequence Learning. The initial concept. In 2014, I refined it, Neural Machine Translation, by jointly learning to align and translate. In 2017, with the team at Google Brain, we completed the final version. Attention is all you need." Kyle's hand stopped over the keyboard. That's not possible." "Google it," Robert said calmly. "My name. See the papers, see the citations, and decide for yourself." Kyle frantically Googled. His hands were shaking. On the screen, "Attention is all you need." Authors, Vaswani, Shazir, Parmar, Uskorate, Jones, Gomez, Kaiser, Polosukin, Morrison, et al. Second page, Morrison's personal profile. Bell Labs, 1988-2003. Stanford University, visiting professor, 2003-2010. Google Brain Consultant, 2015-2017. 60 patents, tens of thousands of citations. Kyle's world collapsed. 15 minutes later, Google HR office, Kyle ran into HR manager Jennifer Wang's office. Jennifer, I made a terrible mistake." Jennifer looked up. She was on the phone. "Kyle, I'm busy. I rejected Dr. Robert Morrison." Jennifer froze, hung up the phone. "What?" I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. The transformer paper, attention mechanism. He invented it. You did what? Jennifer jumped to her feet. You rejected Robert Morrison? I thought he was old, outdated. He's the creator of modern AI, Jennifer yelled. He'd never seen her yell. That man is one of the most important AI researchers of the last 20 years. GPT, BERT, Claude, everything is built on his work. And you, what did you say to him? I said his experience was old. Jennifer put her hands on her face. Oh God, oh God. If Vic hears about this. Vic was the head of Google's AI division. We're all getting fired. How do I fix this? You can't fix this, Jennifer laughed through tears. That man is wanted by OpenAI, Anthropic, every major AI company, and we rejected him because a 22-year-old kid doesn't know how to read a resume. Kyle's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. Sorry isn't enough. Now go. Find him. Get on your knees. Beg. Do whatever it takes. But bring him back. Google Campus Park. 20 minutes later, Robert sat on a bench, looking at his phone. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman had texted, Robert, how did the Google interview go? Still want to talk to us? Anthropic is also interested. Time to start a bidding war. Robert smiled. At least some people still knew his value. Dr. Morrison, he turned. Kyle was running toward him, out of breath, face flushed. Dr. Morrison, please wait. Robert stood up. Mr. Patterson, did I forget something? I made a terrible mistake. I didn't recognize you. I should have known. I didn't read your resume. I just looked at your age and decided, Robert finished. Old, outdated, worthless. No, Kyle shouted. I mean, yes, that's what I thought. But I was wrong, so wrong. You're a legend. My Stanford professor talked about you. We read your papers in class. I just didn't make the connection. Because you didn't look, Robert said, voice hard but calm. You didn't read my resume, didn't check my publications, just saw age and assumed. Kyle nodded, tears streaming down his cheeks. You're right, and I'm sorry, but please give us a chance. Dr. Wang, our HR manager, wants to see you. The CEO, too, all of us. Kyle, Robert said gently, there's something you need to do. Anything. Whatever it is, I'll do it. Learn, not just read. Learn the history, the foundations, who built what. Because someday you'll be 58 years old, and a 22-year-old kid will look at you and say, outdated, and then you'll understand. Kyle nodded. I understand, and I'll change, I promise. Robert looked at him for a minute. Then, let me go back to Google, but I'll talk to your manager, not you. 2 weeks later, Google AI All Hands, meeting 200 AI engineers, sat in Google's largest conference room. Vic Gundotra, head of AI, was on stage. Today, Vic said, I'm honored to introduce our new lead research advisor. Most of you have read his work. Some of you took classes about him, but none of you knew who he was because the names of those who created modern technology are often forgotten. Please welcome Dr. Robert Morrison. Robert walked onto the stage. Applause. But Kyle, sitting in the front row, noticed not everyone was clapping. Some, young engineers, recent graduates, looked confused. Who is this guy? Robert took the microphone. Thank you, Vic, and thank you all. My being here was unexpected. 2 weeks ago, in my interview, I was told I was outdated. My experience was deemed irrelevant. And you know what? The interviewer was right, in a way. The room went silent. Because in tech, new has become a cult. Latest model, latest tool, latest hype. But here's a secret. Every new thing is built on a foundation. GPT-4, based on transformer architecture. Transformer, based on attention mechanism. Attention mechanism, based on the concept I proposed in 2001. And that concept, based on neural network research I did at Bell Labs in the 1990s. Pauses. People were listening. So am I old? Yes. Outdated? Maybe. But what I know is this. If you don't understand the foundations, you can't make the next breakthrough. History matters. Pioneers matter, because the future is built on the past. Applause, stronger this time. And to young engineers, Robert continued, his eyes sliding to Kyle, a piece of advice. Read the resumes. Don't just look at dates. Read the publications. Understand the foundations, because someday you'll be old too. And I hope, when that time comes, someone will listen to you. The room stood and applauded. Kyle, in the front row, was crying, but this time, not tears of shame, tears of pride. 6 months later, AI Conference, San Francisco. Robert was on a panel. Beside him, Sam Altman, OpenAI, Demis Hassabis, Google DeepMind, Dario Amodei, Anthropic. The moderator asked, "Dr. Morrison, what do you think about the future of AI?" Robert smiled. "The future will be built by those who understand the past. GPT-5, GPT-10, whatever comes, the fundamental principles will remain the same. Attention, context, meaning. I learned these 25 years ago, and they're still valid." And your advice to young researchers? Respect history, read the pioneers, and remember, today's new technology is tomorrow's old technology. But good work lasts forever. Applause. After the panel, Kyle approached. He was now a junior researcher at Google on Robert's team. "Dr. Morrison," he said, "I read your paper. The 2001 Attention Mechanism paper. Understanding the mathematics took me 3 weeks. But finally, it clicked. It really clicked. Thank you for teaching me what real research is." Robert touched his shoulder. "Keep going, Kyle. You're a good engineer. Just be patient, learn, and remember, someday you'll be the old man too. When that time comes, be kind." Kyle smiled. "I promise." 1 year later, LinkedIn post. A Kyle Patterson AI, 487,000 views. Title, "1 year ago, I made the biggest mistake of my career." Content, "1 year ago, at Google, I rejected Dr. Robert Morrison. I called him outdated, irrelevant. I didn't even read his resume. That man was one of the pioneers of modern AI. He co-created transformer architecture, invented the attention mechanism, 60 patents, thousands of citations, and I just saw his age and assumed. Fortunately, he forgave me, took me on as his mentee, and the last year has been the most educational year of my career. I learned age is experience, not weakness. New isn't always better. History matters, pioneers matter, and most importantly, read resumes, really read them. To Dr. Morrison, thank you for the patience, for the lessons, and for giving me a second chance. And to young engineers, don't make my mistake. Show respect. Learn, listen. Because today's new technology is tomorrow's old technology. But knowledge lasts forever. Dr. Robert Morrison's story reminds us, experience never gets outdated, knowledge never gets old. And sometimes the most valuable thing isn't in the new technology, but in the old wisdom that made it possible. Like, subscribe and share, because every pioneer deserves respect. Have you ever dismissed someone because of their age? What did you learn? Share below. Remember, the future is built by those who understand the past.